This is a really beautiful statue. It's called the Nike, or Victory, of Paionios, and it dates to around 420 BC. And it stood on a 9-meter high column outside the temple to Zeus at Olympia. But there's a really interesting story behind this statue, and that's what I want to talk about. To understand things and give a bit more context to it all, I need to talk about Messenia. This was a region which was effectively controlled by Sparta. It was in the southern Peloponnese, and its local population there were effectively enslaved. Now in 464 BC, there was an earthquake, and that allowed some of them to rebel, and they seized a fortress or a defended position on Mount Ethome, and the Spartans couldn't budge them out. No matter how hard they tried, they just couldn't get those helots out of that place. So they ended up having a treaty, and the treaty was that, okay, you get to leave, just go away, and we won't kill you, which sounds a pretty good deal. And the Athenians took them in and effectively settled them in Naupactus, which was a small city in the Gulf of Corinth. And this statue was actually dedicated by the Naupactians and the Messenians, and there was an inscription on it which referenced a victory. And we think that victory was one which occurred in 425 BC, where the Spartans were defeated by Athens at Sphacteria. What you've got with this statue then is you've got a statue to victory, a statue commemorating a victory over the Spartans by the Athenians, and one which was set up by those helots that had managed to escape from Mount Ethome after rebelling against the Spartans. This must have really wound up any Spartan who passed by, and must have been a really good piece of anti-Spartan propaganda. And what I really love about it is the fact that it knits these two things together. You've got the backstory to it and what it stands for, and you've also got the artistry. I mean, that's real high level skill there with the drapery and the folds and everything else. And just imagine that you're walking below this, because again, this would have been, the top of that head is like 12 meters high, so it was quite high up, looking down on you with the sun on it. It stood for a lot of things, and I can't imagine that was lost on anyone who was lucky enough to see it in its full form. And if you like this kind of stuff, don't forget, click follow.